March 1943, the 308th Bomb Group deploys to Chengdu Airfield in western China. First mission briefing. Intelligence officer stands at the front of a tent packed with 84 gunners, most of them barely 20 years old.
As you can see, the
He
statistics
presents
are
the
grim.
statistics.
With only 11
Life expectancy for bomber gunners is 11 missions. 11. In the previous 6 months, 47 gunners killed in action, 23 wounded, 70 casualties out of 84 positions, 83% casualty rate. Raymond Keller sits in the back row, 32 years old, an oldest gunner in the squadron by a decade. Gray hair starting at his temples, lines around his eyes from 15 years of squinting down rifle sights. He's a copper mine electrician from Bisbee, Arizona. He's been shooting competitively since age 15, loaded his own ammunition thousands of times, studied ballistics manuals, won 6th place at the National Rifle Championship in 1937, won the Arizona State Championship in 1940. President of the Bisbee Rifle and Pistol Club. In the next 6 months, he will discover that Standard Army doctrine is a death sentence. His solution will save hundreds of lives and change aerial warfare forever. But the military will forget his name 3 days after his greatest victory. Major Frank Dennison stands at the front. Squadron gunnery officer, age 28, West Point graduate, rigid, precise. A man who believes the manual contains all answers. The problem is accuracy. Gunners can't see where they're shooting at 15,000 feet, with fighters coming at 300 miles per hour. That's why we use tracers. One tracer every 5 rounds shows you exactly where your bullets go. You see the glowing stream. You adjust your aim. You walk your rounds onto the target. Standard procedure since 1918. Every military in the world uses tracers. They work. Keller knows something Major Dennison doesn't. Tracers don't just show you where you're shooting. They show everyone else too. 3 days later, March 28th, Keller's first combat mission. Target Japanese airfield at Hanoi. Light fighter opposition expected. Intelligence says maybe a dozen zeros. Intelligence is wrong. 16 zeros intercept at 14,000 feet. Keller watches from his top turret as the battle unfolds. American gunners open fire at 1,000 yards. Bright orange tracer streams arc across the sky. Beautiful, deadly, mesmerizing. Every stream is a glowing arrow pointing straight back to its source. The Japanese pilots see them. They follow the bright lines. They concentrate their fire on the positions they can see. 3 B-24s fall out of formation in 6 minutes. Flames streaming from engines. Bodies falling through clouds. 12 American gunners dead before their burning bombers hit the rice paddies below. Keller fires his guns, loaded with tracers per regulations. He gets 2 kills, clean shooting. But he watches the Japanese fighters track his glowing rounds back toward his turret. Watches 20mm cannon fire walk up the fuselage toward his position. Watches rounds punch through aluminum 3 feet from his head. He survives. Barely. That night, Major Dennison calls a gunnery meeting. 42 surviving gunners pack into the briefing tent. Dennison stands at the front, maps behind him, casualty lists in his hand. We need better accuracy. I'm implementing new training protocol. We're increasing the tracer ratio from 1 in 5 to 1 in 4. More tracers mean better aim. You'll see exactly where your rounds are going. You'll hit more targets, effective immediately. Keller raises his hand. Sir, the Japanese are following our tracers back to our gun positions. More tracers means they find us faster. Dennison stares at him, cold, annoyed. Keller, you're an electrician from Arizona, correct? Not a gunnery tactics expert. The United States Army has been using tracers for 25 years. Every military in the world uses tracers. They work. Without tracers, you're firing blind at targets moving 300 miles per hour. You'll hit nothing. Keller holds his gaze. Sir, they show the enemy exactly where we are. Dennison's voice drops. Quiet, dangerous. They help you hit the enemy, Sergeant. That's what matters. This discussion is over. Dismissed. The expert's solution, more glowing bullets, more complex fire patterns, more bright lines in the sky showing Japanese pilots exactly which gunners to kill first. That night, Keller sits alone in the armament tent. In front of him, on a wooden table, 500 rounds of .50 caliber ammunition. Standard load for his twin guns, 4-ball rounds, 1 tracer. 4-ball, 1 tracer. Every 5th round loaded with phosphorus. Burns at 2,000 degrees when fired. Glows bright orange. Visible for miles. He thinks about 15 years of competitive shooting. Rifle ranges outside Bisbee under the Arizona sun. The national championship in 1937. Standing on the line with the best marksmen in America. 6th place shooting against men who've been doing it their whole lives. Not one of them used tracers. They knew their guns, knew their ballistics, knew the wind, knew the drop, knew exactly where their bullets went without needing glowing rounds to show them. Keller picks up a tracer round, feels the weight, studies the phosphorus tip. He thinks about Japanese pilots, young men, well-trained, not stupid. They can see, they can track, they can follow a glowing line straight back to the American who fired it. And he thinks, what if I just don't give them anything to follow? The simple solution, Keller begins removing tracers, one by one, every 5th round pulled from the belt, replaced with standard ball ammunition. No phosphorus, no glow, no burning. No bright line advertising his position in the sky. Just bullets. Fast, invisible, lethal. It takes him 2 hours to repack 500 rounds. His hands move in the lamplight. Steady, methodical. The same hands that loaded competition ammunition for 15 years. Pure ball ammunition. 0 tracers. Other gunners walk past the tent entrance. See what he's doing. Stop, stare. Keller, you're going to get yourself killed. How you going to aim without tracers? How you going to know where you're shooting? Keller doesn't look up. Same way I won state championships. I know where my rounds go. You ain't on a rifle range now, old man. You're in a bomber turret at 15,000 feet with zeros coming at you 300 miles per hour. You need those tracers. Keller looks up, meets the young gunner's eyes. I need to stay alive. Tracers get you killed. The gunner shakes his head, walks away. Word spreads through the squadron. The old electrician from Arizona has lost his mind. Near midnight, Bombardier Malcolm Sanders finds him. Age 32, same as Keller, also from Arizona, Douglas 60 miles south of Bisbee. They met at aerial gunnery school in Nevada, both the oldest men in their training class. Both married, both with daughters the same age. Both tired of being surrounded by kids who thought war was an adventure. Sanders leans against the tent pole, watches Keller work. You really doing this? Dennison will court-martial you. Keller slides another belt into an ammunition can. Dennison's complex solution is getting men killed every mission. My solution is simple. Don't show the enemy where you are. Sanders is quiet for a moment. And if you miss, if you can't hit anything without tracers showing you where your rounds go. Keller looks up. 15 years of competitive shooting in his eyes. I don't miss Malcolm. Sanders studies his friend, sees something there. Certainty, the kind that comes from 10,000 hours on rifle ranges. From loading your own ammunition round by round. From understanding ballistics the way some men understand their own heartbeat. Your funeral, Ray. But I hope you're right. Dorothy needs her dad to come home. Dorothy, Keller's daughter, 12 years old, waiting in Bisbee with her mother Margaret. Brown hair like her mom, his eyes, his steady hands. He writes her letters every week, draws little pictures of the B-24. Promises he'll be home for her 13th birthday in November, 8 months away. He seals the ammunition can. Tomorrow he'll fly his first mission with invisible fire. Either he'll prove that simple beats complex, that expertise beats doctrine, that his bullets don't need glowing advertisements, or he'll die trying. April 3rd, 1943, dawn. Target Japanese railway yards at Haiphong, 8 zeros expected. Keller climbs into his top turret before sunrise, loads his ammunition belts. Pure ball rounds, not a single tracer visible in any belt. Captain Samuel Brooks, pilot, stops by the turret during pre-flight. Heard you modified your ammo load, Keller. Keller keeps loading. Yes, sir. Brooks is quiet for a moment. Dennison know about this? Keller meets his eyes. Dennison wants me to load more tracers, sir. I respectfully disagree with that tactical decision. Brooks almost smiles. You get us killed, I'll haunt you in the afterlife. I'll keep us alive, Captain. Brooks nods once, walks away. He's a good pilot, 30 missions deep. He knows the score. If Keller's innovation works, it works. If it gets them killed, they'll all be too dead to argue about it. The formation lifts off at 0530 hours. 14 B-24 Liberators, heavy bombers, 4 engines, 10 crew, 10 machine gun positions, slow, vulnerable, relying entirely on defensive firepower to survive. They climbed to 14,000 feet, crossed into Japanese-controlled territory at 0720 hours. At 0804, the Zeros appear, not 8, 12. They climb from below. Mitsubishi A6M fighters, fast, agile, deadly. The Japanese have learned how to kill American bombers. Coordinated attacks, multiple angles, overwhelming defensive positions. The lead Zero comes in at 1,000 yards. American gunners open fire. Bright orange tracer streams arc across the sky. 1 stream, 2, 5, 10. The morning sky lights up with glowing lines of phosphorus fire. Beautiful, suicidal. The Japanese pilots see the tracers. They track them back to their sources. They concentrate their fire on the gun positions they can see. Keller watches from his turret, watches the Zeros follow the glowing streams, watches them pour 20-millimeter cannon fire into the positions showing the brightest tracer fire. Captain Brooks on the intercom. Gunners hold fire until 1,000 yards. Make your shots count. The lead Zero closes, 1,200 yards, 1,000 yards. Keller tracks him through his reflector sight. Smooth, steady. 15 years of competition, shooting in every movement. He knows the deflection, knows the lead, knows exactly where to aim for a target moving 300 miles per hour at 1,000 yards. He squeezes the trigger. Twin 50 caliber machine guns roar. 50 rounds per second. No tracers, no glowing trail, just invisible death cutting through the morning air at 2,900 feet per second. The Zero's canopy shatters. Glass and blood spray into the slipstream. The fighter rolls left, falls away trailing white smoke from a dead engine. Kill number 1. 7 seconds of combat. Keller rotates his turret right. Second Zero climbing from below. An aggressive, fast. The pilot thinks he's invisible down there. 3-second burst. The Zero's engine disintegrates. Cowling tears away. Flames erupt from the firewall. The fighter tumbles nose over tail into the clouds below. Kill number 2. 14 seconds total. Third Zero makes a beam attack on the B-24 flying off their right wing. The Japanese pilot is focused on that bomber, lining up his shot, finger on the trigger. He never sees Keller's gun swing toward him. Keller fires. 4-second burst. The rounds walk across the Zero's left wing. The wing root tears. The entire wing folds back against the fuselage. The fighter spins into the clouds. Kill number 3. 28 seconds of combat. 3 Japanese fighters destroyed. And the Japanese pilots are confused. They see American bombers. They see muzzle flashes. Every gun creates muzzle flash. But they see tracer streams from most positions. Bright glowing lines showing them exactly which turrets are firing. Except one. That top turret on the B-24 at formation position 3. It's firing. They can see the muzzle flashes. But no tracers, no glowing stream, no bright line to follow back to the source. Where is the fire coming from? 2 B-24s fall out of formation. Engines burning, bodies tumbling from shattered gun positions. 16 American gunners dead in 90 seconds. But the Japanese pilots cannot see Keller. His bullets arrive with no warning, no advertisement, no glowing arrow pointing back at his position. He is invisible. He is death from nowhere. Lieutenant Takeo Yamada flies section leader position at 15,000 feet, 2,000 feet and above the battle. He watches 3 of his squadron mates fall, watches the American formation. He sees the tracer streams, bright orange lines from multiple bombers, easy targets. His wingmen are already engaging those positions, following the glowing fire back to its source. But those 3 kills, where did they come from? He scans the formation. No tracers visible from the B-24 at position 3, just muzzle flashes. Could be any of the gun positions. Top turret, waist guns, tail gun. Yamada files a combat report that evening at GLM Airfield. Americans employing new tactic. Some positions firing without tracers. Difficult to locate, difficult to engage. Recommend countermeasures. His squadron commander reads the report, dismisses it. Probably equipment malfunction. Americans always use tracers. It's doctrine. It's what they teach. Every Air Force in the world uses tracers. But Yamato remembers. Somewhere in that American formation is a gunner he cannot see. A ghost. And that ghost just killed 3 of his men. Keller's B-24 lands at Chengdu 3 hours later. Captain Brooks shuts down the engines. The crew climbs out, shaking, adrenaline burning off. Another mission survived. Intelligence officer reviews the gun camera footage, frame by frame, watching Keller's top turret cameras. 2 confirmed kills. Clean shooting, Sergeant. How'd you get them both so fast? 15 years competitive shooting, sir. The officer looks at him. With tracers helping you, Keller meets his eyes. Didn't use tracers, sir. The intelligence tent goes quiet. By evening, word spreads through the squadron. The old electrician from Arizona got 2 confirmed kills without tracers. Major Dennison hears about it. His face goes hard. That night, Staff Sergeant Jack Holloway finds Keller, age 24, waist gunner on another crew. Cocky, young, hungry for glory. Heard you got 2 kills without tracers. That true Keller is cleaning his guns. He doesn't look up. That's true. Think I could do that? Keller looks up. Studies the young gunner, sees himself 15 years ago, confident, certain, unaware of everything he doesn't know yet. How much shooting experience you have outside of gunnery school? Holloway shrugs. Basic training, gunnery school, 6 weeks. Keller shakes his head. Not enough. What do you mean not enough? It's just aiming. If you can do it, I can do it. Keller sets down his cleaning rod. I've been shooting competitively for 15 years, Holloway. I know where my rounds go without seeing them. You need tracers to adjust your aim. Most gunners do. There's no shame in that. Holloway's face hardens. You saying I can't shoot as good as some old electrician from Arizona? I'm saying you need more experience before you try this. Holloway laughs. Cold, young, stupid. Watch me, old man. I'll get more kills than you next mission. He walks away into the darkness. Sanders finds Keller an hour later, sits down beside him. They're both quiet for a long time. He's gonna do it, isn't he? Keller stares at his guns. Yeah, he's gonna do it. April 8th, 5 days later, mission to railway yards at Than Hoa. Holloway's crew takes off at dawn. Keller's crew is grounded for maintenance on their number 3 engine. Keller stands on the flight line, watches 14 B-24s lift into the gray morning sky, watches them disappear into the clouds, knows what's coming. 6 hours later, 13 B-24s return. One is missing the entire left horizontal stabilizer, barely flying. It crashes on landing. The crew survives. Broken bones, burns, alive. The tail gunner reports what happened. 6 Zeros intercepted over the target. Holloway was firing from the waist position. No tracers in his belts. Spraying bullets everywhere. Couldn't hit anything. Couldn't see where his rounds were going. Got frustrated. Stood up in his position trying to see better. That's when the Zero's 20mm cannon found him. Holloway died in his gun position. 24 years old. Wife in Texas. He'd been in theater for 6 weeks. Next morning, Major Dennison calls full formation. 84 gunners standing in the dawn light. Faces hard. Everyone knows what happened. Dennison stands at the front, voice like iron. Staff Sergeant Jack Holloway died yesterday trying to copy Technical Sergeant Keller's reckless modification. Holloway was 24 years old. He had a wife waiting for him in Texas. He died because someone convinced him that removing tracers was a good idea. Every man stares at Keller. Effective immediately tracer removal is prohibited. Anyone caught removing tracers faces court-martial. Keller, you will load standard ammunition like everyone else. Is that understood? Keller stands at attention. Yes, sir. Dennison stares at him. Holloway's blood is on your hands, Sergeant. Keller says nothing. Dismissed. The formation breaks up. Men walk away. Nobody looks at Keller. Nobody speaks to him. He's alone. Sanders finds him that night in the armament tent. Ray, you can't keep doing this. Dennison will throw you in the stockade. Keller is removing tracers again. One by one. Methodical, steady. He'll have to catch me first. I load tracers before inspection. Remove them in flight. Replace them after landing. Sanders stares at him. That's insane. Keller looks up. You know what's insane, giving Japanese pilots a glowing target? That's insane. Holloway didn't have the training to shoot without tracers. I told him that. He didn't listen. That's not my fault. Sanders is quiet. Dennison thinks it is. Keller goes back to his ammunition. Dennison thinks doctrine is more important than staying alive. I disagree. From April to October, Keller flies this way. Every mission the same routine. Load tracers for Major Dennison's inspection. Remove them at altitude. Replace them after landing. Risky. Time-consuming. Lonely. His confirmed kills climb. April through June, 3 more kills. Total 5. July through September. 4 more kills. Total 9. By October 1st, 1943, Technical Sergeant Raymond Keller is the highest-scoring gunner in the 308th Bomb Group, higher than gunners who've been flying since 1942, higher than some fighter pilots. The other gunners whisper about him. How does he do it? How does he hit anything without tracers? Nobody copies him. Holloway's death scared them. Major Dennison watches him like a hawk, inspects his ammunition before every mission, sees tracers loaded, never catches him removing them in flight. And Lieutenant Takeo Yamada, flying missions from Jialam Airfield near Hanoi, starts to notice a pattern in the combat reports. American bomber formations, multiple gun positions firing, bright tracer streams from most positions. In one position, always one with high kill counts and no visible tracer fire. The ghost gunner, Yamada, requests intelligence analysis. Find this American. Which aircraft? Which squadron? Which position? Japanese intelligence begins studying American formation photographs, gun camera angles, tail numbers. They're hunting. Yamada has 21 confirmed kills. 2 more Americans, and he'll match Japan's newest ace. But he wants something else. He wants to kill the ghost. By late October, Keller has 9 confirmed kills, 3 more missions until he rotates home. 20 missions is the magic number. Complete 20 combat missions, and you go home. Back to the States, back to Arizona, back to Margaret and Dorothy. October 30th, 1943, eve of Halloween. Keller writes home, Dear Margaret, tomorrow's my 18th mission. Only 2 more after that and I rotate home. I'll be there for Dorothy's birthday in November. I promise. I know I've been gone 9 months. I know it's been hard, but I'm good at what I do. I'm staying safe. Tell Dorothy I'm bringing her something special from China. I love you both. Ray. He seals the envelope. Sanders watches from his bunk. You really think we're going home? Keller looks at him. I know we are. 18 missions, 9 kills, 0 injuries. We're the oldest guys still flying. We're the luckiest guys still flying. 2 more weeks and we're done. Sanders wants to believe him. Hope you're right, Ray. That evening intelligence briefing for the October 31st mission. Halloween. Target Japanese airfield complex at Haiphong. Light fighter opposition expected. Intelligence estimates maybe a dozen zeros from GLAM. Keller looks at the map, looks at Sanders, says nothing. But he's been on 17 combat missions. He knows the score. Intelligence is always wrong about fighter counts. Halloween morning, 05:30 hours. The B-24s lift into the darkness. 14 bombers, 140 crew. Keller loads fresh ammunition. Pure ball rounds, 0 tracers, 500 rounds per gun. Sanders settles into the bombardier position in the nose. Big one today, Ray. I can feel it. Keller checks his guns. Stay sharp, Malcolm. Intelligence is always wrong. Captain Brooks on the intercom. Weather's clear. 2 hours, 40 minutes to target. Gunners test fire over the mountains. Keller fires a short burst. Both guns function perfectly. Smooth. Reliable. Deadly. He settles into his turret, thinks about Dorothy waiting in Bisbee, about Margaret reading his letter, about 2 more missions after this one, and he's done forever. He thinks about going home. The formation crosses the Chinese coast at 07:30 hours. The South China Sea spreads out below them. Gray, empty, beautiful. At 08:12, the zeros appear. Not a dozen. 29. Keller counts them through his gun sight. Metal cold against his eye. 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 29. More fighters than he has ammunition for. More fighters than his entire squadron can handle. More fighters than intelligence said would be here. Intelligence said a dozen. Intelligence was wrong by 17 fighters. The largest fighter interception in the theater. 14 American bombers against 29 Japanese fighters. The odds are catastrophic. Captain Brooks on the intercom, his voice tight. Jesus Christ. Gunners, this is going to be bad. Pick your targets carefully. Conserve your ammunition. Make every shot count. The Zeros climb fast. Experienced pilots, they've learned from 6 months of fighting American bombers. No more single passes. No more one-at-a-time attacks. They swarm. 2 Zeros attack from the nose while 2 more come from the beam, while 2 more attack from below. Overlapping fields of fire. Overwhelming defensive positions, coordinating their runs to arrive simultaneously. The Japanese have learned how to kill B-24s. American gunners open fire at 1,000 yards. The sky lights up. Bright orange tracer streams arc from 8 different bombers. 10 streams, 15 streams, 20 streams. The morning sky becomes a web of glowing phosphorus fire. Every stream a road leading home for Japanese pilots. Within 90 seconds, 2 B-24s fall out of formation. The first takes a direct hit to the number 2 engine. 20-millimeter cannon rounds tear through the cowling. Flames erupt. The engine explodes. Fire spreads to the wing fuel tanks. The entire left wing becomes a torch. The bomber rolls inverted, falls. 8 crew members inside. Some jump, some burn, all die. The second B-24 takes concentrated fire from 3 Zeros attacking simultaneously. All 3 Japanese pilots followed the bright tracer streams to the same waist gun position. 50 rounds of 20-millimeter cannon fire converge on that single point. The gunner disintegrates. The rounds continue through the fuselage, sever control cables. The bomber's tail section falls away. The aircraft tumbles end over end into the South China Sea. 16 American gunners dead in 90 seconds. But Keller hasn't fired yet. He tracks the lead Zero through his reflector sight. Smooth, calm, breathing steady. 15 years of competitive shooting, controlling every movement. The Zero climbs toward them. 1,200 yards. 1,000 yards. The Japanese pilot's face visible in the canopy. Young, maybe 20. Confident. Keller squeezes the trigger. Twin 50 caliber machine guns roar. The sound fills his turret. Brass casings eject. 50 rounds per second. No tracers, no glowing trail. Just invisible bullets cutting through morning air at 2,900 feet per second. The Zero's canopy explodes. Glass and blood spray across the fighter's fuselage. The pilot's head snaps back. His hands leave the controls. The Zero rolls left, falls away trailing white smoke. Kill number 10, 7 seconds. Keller rotates his turret right. Second Zero climbing from below, aggressive angle. The pilot thinks he's invisible down there in the sun. He's wrong. Keller tracks him, leads him, fires a 3-second burst. The Zero's engine disintegrates. Cylinder heads tear away. Connecting rods punch through the crankcase. Oil sprays across the windscreen. Flames erupt from the firewall. The fighter tumbles nose over tail. Falls spinning into the clouds. Kill number 11. 14 seconds total. Third Zero makes a beam attack on the B-24 flying 300 yards off their right wing. The Japanese pilot is focused entirely on that bomber. Lining up his shot. 20-millimeter cannon ready. Finger tightening on the trigger. He never sees Keller's gun swing toward him. Keller fires, 4-second burst. The rounds walk across the Zero's left wing like a zipper opening. The wing root tears. Metal screams. The entire wing folds back against the fuselage. The fighter spins into the clouds, trailing pieces of aluminum. Kill number 12. 28 seconds of combat. 3 Japanese fighters destroyed. And the Guawanese pilots are starting to realize something is wrong. They see American bombers. They see muzzle flashes from multiple gun positions. Every gun creates muzzle flash when it fires. But they see bright tracer streams from most positions. Glowing orange lines showing them exactly which turrets are firing. Easy targets. Follow the light. Kill the gunner. Except one position. That top turret on the B-24 at formation position 3. It's firing. The muzzle flashes are visible, but no tracers, no glowing stream, no bright phosphorus line pointing back to the source. Where is the fire coming from? The Japanese pilots are confused, uncertain. 3 of their squadron mates just fell from the sky, and they don't know which American gun killed them. Lieutenant Takeo Yamada flies section leader position at 15,000 feet, 2,000 feet above the main battle. Command position. He watches everything. He sees 3 Zeros fall, watches them spin into the clouds, watches his men die. He scans the American formation below, sees the tracer streams, bright orange lines from 7 different B-24s. His wingmen are already engaging those positions, following the glowing fire. Standard tactics. But those 3 kills, no tracers visible. Yamada has been flying combat missions for 18 months, 43 sorties, 21 confirmed kills. He knows American tactics. He knows their doctrine. He knows they always use tracers. Every American bomber he's ever engaged has fired tracers. It's what they teach. It's their standard ammunition load. But that B-24 at position 3, top turret firing, no tracers. This is the Ghost Gunner. 6 months of combat reports, different missions, different dates, same pattern. High kill counts from 1 gun position, no visible tracer fire. Yamada has been hunting this American for months, and now he's found him. Yamada radios his wingman, his voice calm, professional. I'm engaging the B-24 at formation position 3, the one with the top turret firing. Follow my attack. He rolls his Zero into a dive. Finally, after 6 months of hunting reports and studying gun camera footage and analyzing engagement patterns, the invisible American is right there, 1,500 feet below. Yamada is going to kill him. Keller rotates his turret, searching for targets. A Zero makes a head-on pass at their bomber. Nose attack. Keller can't bring his top turret to bear on targets directly ahead. The guns can't depress low enough. He watches the nose gunner's tracers stream forward. Bright orange line pointing straight at the attacking Zero. The Zero's guns flash. 30 caliber and 20 millimeter cannon fire. The rounds converge on the B-24's nose section. Glass shatters, metal tears. The bombardier station disintegrates. First Lieutenant Malcolm Sanders takes a direct hit. 20 millimeter round through the chest, killed instantly. His body slumps forward over the bomb site. Blood sprays across the plexi. The Norden bomb site worth $10,000 is destroyed. Keller sees it happen, sees his friend die. The man he met at gunnery school, same age, same home state, both too old for this war, both promising their families they'd come home. Sanders' daughter is 12 years old, same age as Dorothy, waiting in Douglas, Arizona, 60 miles from Bisbee. She'll never see her father again. Keller keys the intercom, his voice steady, cold. Sanders is down. Malcolm's dead. Captain Brooks responds immediately. Copy. Stay on your guns, Keller. Rage burns through Keller. Ice cold, focused, pure. He rotates his turret, hunting. 3 Zeros attack from below. Coordinated, professional. Coming up under the bomber where most gun positions have limited fields of fire. But Keller's top turret can rotate 360 degrees, can depress almost straight down. He tracks the lead Zero through his sight. Fires. The burst hits the Zero's wing root. The metal structure fails. The wing folds up against the fuselage. The fighter tumbles into the clouds. Kill number 13. 2 minutes elapse since the battle started. The formation is breaking apart. B-24s scattering across 10 miles of sky. Some turn back toward China. Some press on toward the target. Japanese fighters pursue them all. Every bomber on its own now. No mutual support, no overlapping defensive fire. Just individual aircraft fighting for survival. Lucky Strike's number 3 engine begins losing oil pressure. The gauge drops. 50 pounds, 40, 30. Black smoke streams from the cowling. Captain Brooks shuts down the engine. Feathers the propeller to reduce drag. The bomber slows immediately. 3 engines instead of 4. Airspeed dropping from 190 to 160 miles per hour. They fall behind the formation. In aerial combat, falling behind means dying alone. Keller knows what's coming. 6 Zeros peel off from the main battle. They've spotted the crippled bomber. Wounded prey, easy kill. They dive toward Lucky Strike like sharks smelling blood. Keller counts them through his gun sight, checks his ammunition counter. 400 rounds remaining. He'll need every single one. The 6 zeros come in waves. Coordinated. Professional. These pilots know what they're doing. 2 attack from above, 2 from the beam, 2 from below. Classic Japanese fighter tactics. Overwhelming a single target from multiple angles simultaneously. The defensive gunner has to choose which threat to engage. While he's shooting at one, the others kill him. Keller takes the high pair first. They dive out of the sun at 400 miles per hour, wings glinting, guns ready. He leads the first zero by 3 aircraft lengths, accounts for closure rate, accounts for deflection. 15 years of competitive shooting, calculating the mathematics automatically. He fires. The burst catches the zero's engine dead center. Cylinder heads explode. The crank case shatters. Flames erupt from the cowling. The zero rolls onto its back, falls away burning. Kill number 14. The second zero from above breaks right. Hard turn. The pilot saw his wingman die. Knows something is wrong. Keller tracks him through the turn. Smooth, steady, fires a 2-second burst. The rounds walk across the zero's fuselage from tail to nose. The canopy shatters. The pilot's body jerks. The fighter goes into a flat spin, falls. Kill number 15. 3 minutes, 20 seconds elapsed. 2 zeros attack from the beam. Left side. Tight formation. They open fire at 1,200 yards. Too far for accuracy, but close enough to suppress. 20-millimeter rounds tear through Lucky Strike's left wing. Hydraulic lines sever. Fluid sprays across the aluminum skin. The left aileron stops responding. Captain Brooks fights the controls. Keller rotates his turret, engages the leader. First burst misses. The zero jinx. Combat maneuver. Good pilot. Keller corrects. Fires again. The zero's left wing explodes. 20-millimeter cannon ammunition cooks off. The wing tears away at the root. The fighter tumbles. Kill number 16. The second zero from the beam continues his attack run. Committed. His guns flash. 30 caliber and 20-millimeter rounds punch through Lucky Strike's tail section. The rudder shreds. Control cables snap. The tail gunner's position disintegrates. The tail gunner, Technical Sergeant Robert Flynn, survives. Bails out. Parachutes into occupied China. Will evade capture for 3 weeks. Will make it home. But right now the bomber is dying. Keller fires at the attacking zero. 3-second burst. The rounds hit the fighter's fuel tank. The tank ruptures. Aviation fuel ignites. The zero disintegrates in a ball of orange fire. Pieces rain into the South China Sea. Kill number 17. 4 minutes elapsed. 2 zeros remain from the original 6. They attack from below. Smart. Coming up where the top turret has the most difficult angle. 1 zero positions himself directly beneath Lucky Strike. 200 feet below, directly in the blind spot where Keller's guns can't depress far enough. The other climbs for another pass, setting up for a beam attack. Keller rotates his turret to track the climbing zero. The fighter is 500 yards out. Closing. Keller squeezes the trigger. Nothing happens. The guns are jammed. The zero is 400 yards out, closing at 300 miles per hour. Keller's hands move automatically. 15 years of muscle memory. Competition shooting. Rifle ranges. Clearing malfunctions under time pressure. Pulls the charging handles. Clears the jam. Recharges both weapons. 8 seconds. The zero is 300 yards out. The pilot's face visible. Young, confident, guns ready. Keller fires. The burst shreds the zero's tail section. The elevator tears away. The fighter loses pitch control. Spins out of control. Falls. Kill number 18. 4 minutes 30 seconds elapsed. 9 Japanese fighters destroyed or damaged by 1 American gunner in 1 engagement. But Lieutenant Takeo Yamada is still alive. He's been circling above the battle, watching, studying. The B-24 at position 3. Top turret. 9 kills, no tracers. This is the ghost. Yamada rolls into an attack dive. Steep, fast, professional. This is personal now. He opens fire at 800 yards. 20-millimeter cannon. The rounds converge on Lucky Strike's right wing. The number 4 engine takes multiple hits. Spark plugs shatter. Ignition fails. The engine begins throwing sparks. Keller returns fire immediately. Yamada breaks hard left. Violent evasive maneuver. Combat veteran reactions. Keller's burst misses by inches. Yamada pulls up, circles, sets up for a second attack. Experienced pilot. Not like the others. This one knows what he's doing. Yamada begins his second dive. Steeper angle, faster. His gun's ready. Keller rotates his turret, tracks the Zero through his sight, waits. 600 yards, 500, 400. Keller fires. The burst hits the Zero's left wing, tears the control surfaces. The aileron rips away. The flap shreds. Not fatal, but damaging. Yamada's fighter loses roll control, begins a slow descending turn. He fights it, gets the wings level. But the Zero is wounded. Losing altitude, trailing smoke. Yamada breaks off the attack, turns for GLM airfield, 70 miles away. He'll make it. Barely. He'll land with a damaged fighter and a memory burned into his brain. The Ghost Gunner is real, and he just damaged Yamada's Zero. Keller checks his ammunition counter, 60 rounds remaining, 9 aircraft destroyed or damaged, 8 minutes of combat. Highest single mission score for any bomber gunner in the theater. But the cost is devastating. Malcolm Sanders dead in the bombardier position. Number 3 engine dead. Number 4 engine failing. Hydraulics leaking. Rudder damaged. Left wing shredded. Lucky Strike is dying. The bomber crosses the Chinese coast at 8,000 feet. Still losing altitude. 300 feet per minute. Captain Brooks aims for Guilin Airfield, 160 miles inland. The intercom crackles. Brooks' voice tight. We're losing hydraulic pressure. Number 4 engine temperature critical. I don't know if we'll make it to Guilin. Everyone prepare to bail out. Keller looks down. Occupied China. Japanese troops control every village, every road, every rice paddy. If they bail out, they'll be in enemy territory. Hunted. Captured. Captured means torture, interrogation, execution. At 6,000 feet, the number 4 engine catches fire. Real fire. Not smoke, not sparks. Flames streaming past the wing. Orange and yellow. The engine cowling, glowing red. The fire suppression system activates. Carbon dioxide floods the engine compartment. Nothing happens. The fire continues to burn. Brooks on the intercom, his voice calm, final. Bail out now. That's an order. The co-pilot, First Lieutenant Ralph Chen, goes first. Opens the nose hatch, jumps. His parachute deploys clean. White silk blossoming against blue sky. Navigator, First Lieutenant Daniel Morrison follows. Jumps. Parachute deploys. He drifts toward the hills below. 3 more crew members line up at the waist gun window. They jump one by one. Parachutes deploy. They drift down toward occupied China. Keller climbs down from his turret, grabs his parachute pack, clips it to his harness. The bomber is at 4,000 feet. Below him, mountains, forests, villages with Japanese flags. Brooks shouts from the cockpit, "I'm staying with the aircraft. I'm going to try to land it at Guilin." The flight engineer, Technical Sergeant Frank Murphy, stays with him. So does the radio operator, Technical Sergeant William Drake. 3 men staying, 7 bailing out. Keller reaches the hatch, looks at the burning engine, looks at the altimeter. 3,800 feet. He thinks about Margaret reading his letter, about Dorothy waiting for her 13th birthday, about the promise he made to come home. He thinks about Malcolm Sanders dead in the bombardier station, about the Zero that killed him, about the 9 fighters he destroyed today, about the innovation that saved hundreds of lives, about the 3 more missions he needed to rotate home, 3,600 feet. Keller jumps. The wind hits him like a wall, cold, fast, violent. He counts to 3, pulls the ripcord. The parachute deploys, white silk snapping open above him. The harness jerks tight. His descent slows. He drifts down toward the hills of southern China. Wind carries him northeast, away from the coast, deeper into enemy territory. Below him, bamboo groves, rice paddies, a dirt road with military trucks, Japanese patrols. He steers toward thick vegetation. Dense forest, better concealment than open ground. He hits hard. Bamboo grove. Rolls to absorb impact. His competitive shooting reflexes saving him again. 15 years of physical training, body awareness, control. He cuts away his parachute harness, gathers the white silk canopy, stuffs it under a fallen log, covers it with leaves and dirt. White parachute visible from the air means Japanese patrol finds you within hours. Keller checks his survival kit. Standard issue, compass, water purification tablets, silk escape map of southern China, $47 in Chinese currency, small pistol, 1 magazine, 8 rounds against the entire Japanese army. He orients his compass. North is up the ridgeline. Free China is north. 200 miles through occupied territory. Chinese guerrillas operate in these mountains. Nationalist forces, friendly to Americans. They'll help downed airmen reach safety. If he can find them before the Japanese find him. Keller begins walking. North, up the ridge, into the forest. He covers 3 miles before sunset. The terrain is brutal. Steep slopes, dense vegetation, no trails. He hears voices in the valley below. Japanese or Chinese, he can't tell from this distance. He keeps climbing. At dusk, he finds a concealed position in thick underbrush. Stops to rest. He hasn't eaten since breakfast at Chengdu, 13 hours ago. His survival kit contains no food. He drinks water from a stream. Purification tablets, making it taste like chlorine. Better than dysentery. He settles into his hiding position. Waits for full darkness. He doesn't know that 5 of the 7 crew members who bailed out are already safe. Co-pilot Chen landed near a Chinese village. The villagers hid him for 2 days. Then guerrillas escorted him to nationalist lines. 60 miles. 3 weeks, he made it home. Navigator Morrison made it out. So did Waist Gunner Staff Sergeant Louis Martinez. So did Tail Gunner Technical Sergeant Robert Flynn. So did Observer Captain James Ward. 5 men safe. He doesn't know that Captain Brooks performed a miracle. Despite the dead engine and fire damage and shredded controls, Brooks wrestled Lucky Strike to the runway at Guilin. The landing gear collapsed on touchdown. The bomber skidded 1,500 feet. Stopped 50 yards from a revetment. Brooks, Murphy, and Drake walked away without serious injuries. Lucky Strike would never fly combat again. But the crew survived. He doesn't know that Malcolm Sanders is the only man who died in the aircraft. What Raymond Keller knows is this. He's alone in occupied China with a pistol and 8 bullets. At midnight, he resumes walking, follows the ridgeline north. The moon gives enough light to navigate. Quarter moon, enough to see the trail, not enough to be easily spotted from below. He moves slowly, carefully. Every sound makes him freeze. Every shadow could be a Japanese patrol. By dawn, he's covered 7 more miles. 10 miles total from his landing point. He finds a concealed position on a hillside, tries to sleep. Exhaustion hits him like a truck. He's been awake for 26 hours, flew a combat mission, killed 9 enemy fighters, bailed out of a crippled bomber, walked 10 miles through enemy mountains. He sleeps for 3 hours. Voices wake him. Close, maybe 50 yards downslope. Keller freezes, doesn't move, barely breathes. He looks through the brush. 6 men in uniform moving up the trail. Japanese infantry, searching the hillside methodically. Standard patrol pattern. One of them carries a parachute. White silk, not Keller's. Someone else from the crew. They're hunting American airmen. The patrol passes within 30 feet of Keller's position. He can see their faces. Young, professional, rifles ready. They don't see him. They continue up the trail, moving north, between Keller and Free China. He waits 2 hours, doesn't move. Finally, the forest goes quiet. He tries to move around the patrol's position. Makes it half a mile before he hears dogs barking. The Japanese use dogs to track downed airmen. German shepherds, trained to find human scent. The barking gets closer. Keller starts running. The dogs find his scent. The barking becomes frantic, high-pitched. Excited, they've found prey. Voices shout behind him. Japanese soldiers, coordinates being called out. The hunt is on. Keller runs harder, covers 200 yards. The trail ends at a cliff, 20 feet straight down to a river. Fast current, white water over rocks. No other way forward. The dogs are 100 yards back, closing fast. Keller looks at the water, looks at his pistol, makes his choice. He jumps. The river is shallow. 4 feet deep. Keller hits hard. The current grabs him immediately. Cold water. November in southern China. Maybe 60 degrees. Pulls him downstream fast. He surfaces, gasps, swims hard for the far bank. Behind him the dogs reach the cliff edge. Barking echoes off the rocks, frantic, frustrated. They've lost the scent at the water. Japanese soldiers appear at the cliff. 6 men, rifles up. They see him in the water. They open fire. Rifle rounds slap the water around him. Close, too close. Keller dives under, kicks hard. The current carries him around a bend. He comes up for air, keeps swimming, makes the far bank, climbs out, his clothes soaked, his boots full of water, his pistol gone, lost in the river when he hit. He runs into the forest, keeps moving. Behind him the barking continues. The Japanese are looking for a way down to the river. They'll find one. They'll cross. They'll keep hunting. The pursuit continues for 3 hours. Japanese patrols spread across the valley. They know an American airman is in the area. They found parachutes. They have tracking dogs. They have radio communication between patrol units. Standard Japanese infantry tactics for hunting down enemy personnel. Keller has wet clothes and no weapon. He tries to circle north. Japanese troops block that route. Radio chatter visible through the trees. Soldiers coordinating movements. He tries to move west. More troops. They're everywhere. The patrols are tightening a net around him. Systematic, professional. These men know what they're doing. By mid-afternoon on November 15th, Keller is exhausted, hasn't eaten in 32 hours. Walked and run nearly 20 miles through mountainous terrain. No water since the river. No food, no weapon. And he's surrounded. At 1600 hours, a Japanese patrol finds him hiding in a ravine 3 miles from where he landed. 6 soldiers, rifles pointed, no way to fight, no way to run, no way out. Keller stands slowly, raises his hands. He surrenders. The soldiers bind his hands with rope. Rough, tight. They search him, find his dog tags. Technical Sergeant Raymond J. Keller. Serial number 6917171. 374th Bomb Squadron. 308th Bomb Group. They march him to a forward command post. 2 miles, Keller walking with his hands bound. Soldiers on all sides, rifles ready. The command post is a farmhouse. Japanese flag hanging from the porch. Radio antenna on the roof. Officers inside. A Japanese intelligence officer interrogates him. Captain Yoshio Tanaka. Fluent English, educated, professional. Named Technical Sergeant Raymond J. Keller. Serial number 6917171. Unit Keller says nothing. Tanaka switches to English. You are from the 308th Bomb Group. We know this from your dog tags. We know about your raid on Hong Kong yesterday. We know American bombers attacked the harbor. What we want to know is, what were your targets? What is your base location? How many aircraft in your squadron? What are your future operations? Keller meets his eyes. Name, rank, serial number. That's all you get. Tanaka studies him, sees something there. Resolve, the kind that doesn't break easily. You understand you are in Japanese custody now. You will be treated according to the rules of war if you cooperate. If you do not cooperate, things will be more difficult for you. Keller says nothing. Tanaka makes a note in his file. Calls for guards. They take Keller to a holding cell. Small room, concrete floor, barred window. He sits on the floor, hands still bound. He thinks about Margaret, about Dorothy, about the letter he wrote 2 days ago. Tomorrow is my 18th mission. Only 2 more after that, and I rotate home. He completed his 18th mission. Got 9 confirmed kills, highest single mission score in the theater. And now he's a prisoner. November 16th, morning. They transfer him to a larger facility, Sham Shui Po POW Camp, Kowloon, across the harbor from Hong Kong. The camp holds 2,000 prisoners, British, Canadian, some American, captured when Hong Kong fell in December 1941. 2 years in captivity, starving, diseased, dying slowly. Keller is processed. They take his flight suit, his boots, give him prison clothes. Thin cotton, no warmth. November is cold in Hong Kong. They interrogate him again. Different officer, same questions, targets, bases, squadron strength, future operations. Keller gives name, rank, serial number. Nothing else. The interrogation lasts 4 hours. They don't beat him. Not yet. Just questions. Repetitive. Exhausting. Trying to wear him down. It doesn't work. November 17th. The camp commander reviews Keller's file. Major Hiroshi Saito, career officer. Hard. Efficient. He reads the intelligence report. American gunner. High kill count. Multiple Japanese pilots killed. The report estimates 7 to 9 enemy aircraft destroyed by this prisoner. Saito calls for Captain Tanaka. This prisoner has killed many of our pilots. Yes, sir, he will not receive standard prisoner treatment. Tanaka hesitates. Sir, the Geneva Convention requires... Major Saito cuts him off. The Geneva Convention applies to soldiers who fight honorably. This man killed Japanese pilots. He is a war criminal. Tanaka knows better than to argue. Yes, sir. November 18th, 0600 hours. Guards come to Keller's cell. They take him outside. Behind the camp, open ground, a wall. Keller understands immediately. No trial, no Red Cross notification. No due process, just an execution. 6 soldiers form a firing squad. They check their rifles, load ammunition, take positions 20 yards from the wall. An officer reads the charges in Japanese. Keller doesn't understand the words. Doesn't matter. He knows what's happening. They offer him a blindfold. He refuses. If he's going to die, he'll die looking at the men who kill him. The officer raises his sword, the signal to fire. Keller thinks about Margaret, about Dorothy, about Bisbee, about rifle ranges in the Arizona sun, about 15 years of competitive shooting, about the innovation that will save hundreds of lives, about Malcolm Sanders dead in the bombardier station, about going home. He'll never go home. The officer's sword drops. The firing squad fires. Technical Sergeant Raymond J. Keller, age 32, 16 confirmed aerial victories. Killed in action November 18, 1943. They bury him in an unmarked grave outside the camp perimeter. No marker, no record. Just dirt and stones. The Japanese file a report killed resisting capture. A lie, but a convenient one. No war crimes investigation if the prisoner died resisting. Raymond Keller disappears into occupied China. His body never recovered. His grave never found. 3 days after his greatest victory, he's gone. But while Raymond Keller dies in an unmarked grave in China, his innovation spreads across the entire United States Army Air Forces. November 14th evening, Gillen Airfield. Lucky Strike sits damaged on the runway. Landing gear collapsed. Wings shredded, engines dead. But the crew survived. Intelligence officers review gun camera footage from all surviving aircraft in the formation. They watch frame by frame, counting kills, verifying claims. Keller's top turret cameras recorded the entire engagement over Hong Kong. They count each zero hit, each fighter that fell, each kill confirmed by witness statements from other crew members who saw the Japanese aircraft go down. The final Tally 9 confirmed aerial victories for Technical Sergeant Raymond Keller on November 14, 1943. Combined with his 7 confirmed kills from the Haiphong raid on October 31st, his total stands at 16. 16 confirmed kills. No other bomber gunner in the United States Army Air Forces has ever achieved that score. Fighter pilots with 16 kills received the Distinguished Service Cross. Some received the Medal of Honor. Their names appear in newspapers across America. Their face in newsreels. War heroes. Raymond Keller beat every fighter ace record for enlisted gunners in the Pacific Theater, and he did it without a single tracer round giving away his position. The question is whether anyone will remember. November 16th, Major Frank Dennison reviews the gun camera footage. Watches Keller destroy 9 fighters in 12 minutes. Perfect deflection shooting. Precise burst control. No wasted ammunition. No tracers. Just results. Dennison has been a gunnery officer for 3 years, taught hundreds of students, believed in doctrine, believed tracers were essential for accuracy. He was wrong. Dennison calls for Captain Brooks. They meet in the intelligence tent. Your top turret gunner, Keller, 16 confirmed kills. Brooks nods. 16 confirmed. Highest score in the theater for any gunner. Dennison is quiet for a moment. He removed his tracers against my direct orders. Brooks meets his eyes. He removed his tracers and he kept my crew alive for 18 missions. He got 16 kills and he brought us home every time. I don't care about your orders, Major. I care about results. Dennison looks at the gun camera footage again. I'm recommending him for the Medal of Honor. Brooks blinks. He's MIA, possibly dead. Then the medal's for his family, and for every gunner whose life his innovation saved. That week, the word spreads through the 308th Bomb Group. Keller's modification works. No tracers works better than anything they've been taught. Half the squadron removes their tracers. Within 2 weeks, 3/4. Major Dennison doesn't stop them, doesn't threaten court-martial. The results speak for themselves. By December, the entire 14th Air Force is adopting no-tracer ammunition loads. By January 1944, the 10th Air Force in India follows. By March the 20th, Air Force flying B-29 missions against Japan adopts the modification. Thousands of bomber gunners, all removing tracers, using Raymond Keller's innovation. The Air Force compiles statistics, January through March 1944. First quarter after the modification spreads theater-wide. Gunner casualties fourth quarter 1943 before no tracer loads, 147 killed in action, 89 wounded, 236 total casualties. Gunner casualties first quarter 1944 after no tracer loads, 121 killed in action, 71 wounded, 192 total casualties, 18% reduction, 44 fewer deaths, 18 fewer wounded. 62 American lives saved in 3 months. Extrapolate that across the rest of the war, across all theaters, across 2 more years of combat. 400 to 600 lives saved. Because one electrician from Bisbee, Arizona trusted his 15 years of shooting experience over Army doctrine. Because Raymond Keller understood something the experts didn't. The simple solution beats the complex one. The invisible position survives. Experience matters more than doctrine. But Keller never knows any of this. November 22nd, 1943, Bisbee, Arizona. Margaret Keller receives a telegram. We regret to inform you that your husband, Technical Sergeant Raymond J. Keller, is missing in action following combat operations over Hong Kong. November 14th, 1943. Further information will be provided as it becomes available. Dorothy is in the kitchen when her mother reads the telegram. 12 years old, 3 days before her 13th birthday. Is Dad coming home? Margaret doesn't know how to answer. Missing in action could mean captured, could mean dead, could mean hiding in Chinese mountains waiting for rescue. She doesn't know. I don't know, sweetheart. Dorothy starts crying. Margaret holds her. They stand in the kitchen in Bisbee, holding each other, waiting for information that won't come for 9 years. Margaret writes letters to the War Department, asking for updates. Any information, anything. No response. January 1944. National Geographic publishes a feature story on the 308th Bomb Group. The article includes a photograph of Lucky Strike's crew standing in front of their bomber at Chengdu Airfield, taken in October 1943, 2 weeks before the Hong Kong raid. Back row fourth from the left, Technical Sergeant Raymond Keller. The caption identifies him as missing in action. The article mentions his record, 16 confirmed kills, highest scoring bomber gunner in the 14th Air Force. It mentions his innovation, removing tracer rounds from ammunition, creating fire that Japanese pilots couldn't track. By the time the magazine reaches American newsstands, thousands of gunners are using Keller's technique. March 1944, Major Dennison submits the Medal of Honor recommendation. The citation is comprehensive. 16 confirmed aerial victories in combat against numerically superior enemy forces. Innovative tactical modification of defensive armament procedures resulting in significant reduction of friendly casualties across multiple air forces. Leadership and combat effectiveness under fire. Killed in action, November 1943. The recommendation moves up through channels. 14th Air Force Headquarters approved. China-Burma. India Theater Headquarters approved. War Department, Washington received March 28, 1944. War Department decision denied. The official response is documented in military records. Aerial gunners, regardless of kill count, do not qualify for the Medal of Honor under existing criteria. The Medal of Honor is reserved for actions involving extreme risk beyond normal combat duties. Shooting down enemy aircraft from a defensive gun position, even 16 aircraft, does not meet the threshold for the nation's highest award. Fighter pilots with 16 kills receive the Distinguished Service Cross. Some receive the Medal of Honor. The difference: fighter pilots are officers. Bomber gunners are enlisted men. The War Department never states this officially, but the pattern is clear in the awards records. Officers get medals. Enlisted men get forgotten. What Raymond Keller receives instead: Silver Star posthumously awarded. Citation: exceptional aerial gunnery skill and innovative removal of tracer ammunition resulting in increased combat effectiveness. Legion of Merit. Citation: significant contribution to bomber defensive tactics adopted across multiple air forces. Purple Heart. Citation: killed in action, June 1944. Ceremony in Bisbee, Arizona. Margaret receives the medals. Dorothy stands beside her. 13 years old now. The mayor hands Margaret the Silver Star, the Legion of Merit, the Purple Heart. Dorothy stares at them. 3 pieces of metal. Her father is dead. These medals don't bring him back. That night, Dorothy takes the Arizona State Rifle Championship medal from 1940. Her father's medal, the one he won before the war. She holds it. This medal he earned himself. This medal he touched. She keeps it for 34 years, until she dies in 1978, age 47. Cancer, no children, no one to pass it to. The medal is lost after her death. Local newspapers cover the ceremony. Hometown hero killed defending China from Japanese invasion. Then the story fades. The war continues. Other men die. Other heroes emerge. Raymond Keller becomes a footnote. After the war ends, fighter aces become famous. Their names fill history books. Richard Bong, 40 confirmed kills. Medal of Honor, airport in Wisconsin named after him. Thomas McGuire, 38 confirmed kills. Medal of Honor, Air Force Base in New Jersey named after him. Gregory Boyington, 28 confirmed kills. Medal of Honor, television series made about him in the 1970s. All officers, all pilots, all remembered. The Air Force compiles statistics on aerial gunner effectiveness after the war. Technical Sergeant Michael Chen, 379th Bomb Group, European Theater, 17 confirmed kills. Highest scoring bomber gunner in the war. Survived. Returned home. Appeared at war bond rallies, gave interviews, his face in newsreels. Michael Chen is remembered. Technical Sergeant Raymond Keller, 16 confirmed kills. Second highest scoring bomber gunner. Killed in action 3 days after his greatest victory. Body never recovered. Buried in unmarked grave 12,000 miles from home. Raymond Keller is forgotten. By 1990, most Americans have never heard his name. Margaret Keller never remarries. Works as a school teacher in Bisbee through the 1960s. Dies in 1971, age 59. Heart disease. Dorothy attends University of Arizona. Studies education. Becomes a teacher like her mother. Never marries. Dies young, 1978, age 47. Breast cancer. The Keller family line ends with Dorothy. The competitive shooting trophies from the 1930s disappear. Donated to the local American Legion post. Lost during a building renovation in the 1980s. The photographs from Chengdu Airfield survive only in military archives. National Archives 2 in College Park, Maryland. Boxes and boxes of records. Millions of pages. Raymond Keller is 3 photographs in 1 box. Forgotten, 1997. Military historian Dr. Sarah Chen researching bomber defensive tactics for her doctoral dissertation. She's working in the National Archives, going through combat reports from the China-Burma-India theater. She finds Raymond Keller's file, 16 confirmed kills. Tactical innovation removing tracer ammunition. Modification adopted theater-wide. Estimated 18% reduction in gunner casualties, first quarter, 1944. She reads the file twice. Checks the dates. Checks the statistics. This man changed aerial warfare, and nobody knows his name. Dr. Chen publishes a paper. Journal of Military History. Title: Invisible Fire, the Innovation That Changed Aerial Gunnery. The paper documents Keller's record, his innovation, the spread of the modification across the Army Air Forces, the lives saved. Military history websites pick up the story. A few researchers began documenting his service. Small articles, academic papers, footnotes in books about bomber warfare. 2006. The Air Force publishes a retrospective on enlisted aerial gunners. Raymond Keller is featured. 16 confirmed kills, innovative tactics, killed in action, November 18, 1943. A few thousand people read it. Most forget it within a week. But his innovation survives. 2025. Modern military aircraft still avoid using tracer ammunition in situations where revealing gun positions creates tactical disadvantage. F-35 Lightning II fighters. Selective tracer use. In combat situations requiring stealth, no tracers. AH-64. Apache helicopters. Limited tracer loads. Standard procedure to minimize position disclosure. AC-130 gunships. No tracers on most fire missions. Only training rounds use tracers. Training manuals cite the tactical reason tracer fire reveals shooter position to enemy forces. The same reason Raymond Keller figured out 82 years ago. Standing in an armament tent at Chengdu Airfield, removing glowing rounds from his ammunition belts one by one. His innovation outlived his memory. His principle survived while his name faded. The invisible position survives. The simple solution works. Experience matters. 1953, 10 years after Raymond Keller's death. Margaret receives final notification from the War Department. Further investigation into the fate of Technical Sergeant Raymond J. Keller has been completed. Japanese military records recovered after the war confirm your husband was killed November 18, 1943, at Sham Shui Po POW Camp, Hong Kong. Body not recovered. Official status: missing in action. Body not recovered. Margaret is 51 years old. She spent 10 years not knowing. 10 years hoping he might somehow still be alive. Hiding in China. Waiting to be found. Now she knows. He died 3 days after his greatest victory. Executed. Buried in an unmarked grave. She writes one final letter. Never sends it. They find it in her effects after she dies in 1971. Dear Ray, it's been 28 years since you died. Dorothy is gone now too. Cancer. She never married. Never had children. Your family line ended with her. I thought you should know, even though you can't read this, that what you did mattered. I met gunners after the war. At reunions. At memorial services. They told me about removing tracers. They told me you saved their lives. They remembered you even if the medals didn't come. Even if the history books forgot your name. I want you to know Dorothy was proud of you. I was proud of you. You didn't come home, but you sent hundreds of other men home to their families. That has to mean something. I'll see you soon. Margaret. Highway 80, Bisbee, Arizona, 2025. A stone cenotaph stands between the Old Town and Warren District. Memorial to Bisbee residents killed in World War II. 20 names carved into granite. Third from the top, Raymond J. Keller, 1911 to 1943. Travelers occasionally stop. Read the names, take photographs. Most don't recognize any of them. A few notice the dates. 1943, early in the war, young men who never came home. Fewer still know what Raymond Keller accomplished. One man's refusal to follow standard procedure. One man's trust in his own training. One man's stupid ammo trick. 16 confirmed kills. 400 to 600 lives saved through tactical innovation. A legacy that outlived his forgotten name. The invisible gunner. The forgotten innovator. The man who changed aerial warfare and disappeared into an unmarked grave. But on rifle ranges across America, competitive shooters still load their own ammunition. Still study ballistics. Still practice until their hands cramp. Still trust their training over doctrine. In bomber museums, docents still explain defensive gunnery tactics. Still mention the modification that removed tracers. Most don't know who invented it. In military academies, instructors still teach the principle: don't advertise your position to the enemy. The invisible shooter survives. Raymond Keller's name is forgotten, but his idea survives. And somewhere in southern China, in an unmarked grave outside a former POW camp, the bones of a 32-year-old electrician from Arizona rest in foreign soil. He wanted to survive. Instead, he created a legacy. Not the legacy of medals, not the legacy of monuments, not the legacy of his name in history books. The legacy of saved lives, the legacy of proven principle, the legacy that matters more than memory. 400 men came home to their families because Raymond Keller trusted experience over doctrine, because he chose the simple solution over the complex one, because he stayed invisible. They never knew his name, but they lived because of him. And in the end, that's the only legacy that matters. The invisible gunner, forever invisible, forever forgotten, forever saving lives.